All right, so we're going to factor polynomials when the leading coefficient is equal to 1. And so what we mean by leading coefficient, we mean this number where x squared or whatever the highest exponent is it doesn't have a number in front of it. So when it doesn't have a number, that means it's equal to 1. So the way I showed you in class was pretty simple, but I think I'm going to show you another way also, just to make sure that we do it right. You really want factors of a times c, which is really this number times this other number. So we're looking in this case, factors of 12 that have a sum of b, all right, and b is 7 in this case. So let's go and do this the way we learned it in class, and then I'm going to show you something so that you'll never make a mistake. All right, so we want factors of 12, basically. 1 times 12 is 12. Well, here's all of our numbers that are products or factors of 12, that when you multiply them, they have a product of 12. Well, which of these is going to add up to be 7? Well, 1 and 12 makes 13, 2 and 6 is 8, 3 and 4 makes 7. So what we're going to do, this is real simple, all right? And we're going to just do x plus 3 times x plus 4. That's basically it, all right? But not always the best method, but we're going to do it that way. So you can go back and check. You get x times x, you get x squared. X times 4 is 4x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 4 is 12. Once you combine your like terms, see how they have to add up to 7. Okay. All right, well, I've got another way, and I'm showing it to you in class today, so this might be, by the time you watch this, might be a review. But you do the same idea. You say, I need factors of 12 that add up to 7, so you still end up getting the same numbers, but instead of writing them out like that, you rewrite your 7x. Instead of 7x, you write 3x plus 4x. So that's really 7x. It's still 7x. Bring down your x squared, and you bring down your 12. Now, we're going to factor it not so much by grouping, but we're going to use a box. All right, so we're going to make a box. Looks like a Punnett square. But you're going to put all these terms, look at that, you got 4 terms now, because you had to divide up your 7x. So we're going to put each one of them inside of the box. So x squared goes in the box, 3x goes in the box, 4x goes in the box, and 12. Alrighty, so got that written all out. All right, think about that for a minute. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to take the common factor of each row and each column. So common factor, think common factor. What goes into x squared and 3x? Well, it looks like x goes into x squared and 3x. What goes into 4x and 12? Well, 4 goes in. I don't think there's another x, so we're just going to call it 4. Now we go to our column. So what goes into x squared and 4x? They both have an x in them, so let's say x. And then what goes into 3x and 12? Well, their common factor would be 3. So your factors, when you're done, are going to be x plus 4, go along right here, right? And because there's no sign in front of it, we call it a plus. And then x plus 3. Now that's the way we're going to factor the next kind. So this kind of keeps you from tripping up and, simplifying something too much when you shouldn't be, okay? So it works out, and then once you go and FOIL it, then it works all out. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do both methods, but I think I'm going to prefer the box for this because this is a no-fail way of doing it. Okay, I'm going to do a homework problem that you had. So this kind of was tripping everybody up in class. So let's go back and look at this. So we want factors of 36. So don't even think about that 13. You want factors of 36. So let's go name all the factors of 36. Always start with 1. 1 and 36. 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, and 6 and 6. So somehow these factors need to add up or subtract or do something to make negative 13. So this will never be, 1 and 36 will never be negative 13, no matter how hard you try. 2 and 18, if you add them, you get 20. If you subtract, you get 16. Not going to happen. All right, how about, ooh, I did not want to do that. Hold on, what did I just do? Oh, no. All right, I fixed that. So 2 and 18 never going to add up to 13, no matter how hard you try. 3 and 12, we're getting kind of close. If you add them, you're either going to get 15, or if you make them both negative, you're going to get negative 15. If you subtract them, you're going to get 9 or negative 9 if you make one a negative. So that's not going to make 13. So cancel that out, not going to work. All right, how about 4 and 9? All right, if you add them together, you get 13. If you make them both negative, I think we found it. You get negative 13. So I do believe it's going to be negative 4 and negative 9. So the way I showed you in class, really it is simple, but you've got to remember this only works when you have a leading coefficient of 1. Okay, so basically your factors are x minus 4 and x minus 9, and it doesn't matter what order you put these factors in because they're commutative. You can go back and you can multiply and make sure that they're right. Now, if you wanted to go and practice it with a box, because you're going to be doing that for most of them, all right, what you would do is you've got your polynomial again. Okay, so we're doing it completely different. All right, so we're done with this. All right, don't think about it. You still go through and you have to figure out the factors of 36 to add up to negative 13. Same thing, and you come up with the negative 4 and the negative 9. I got to fix my 13. But instead of writing them as factors, you write your x squared the same. You write minus 4x minus 9x, because that actually makes negative 13. You add them up, and then you bring down your 36. So now you've got 4 terms to put in a box. So let's make a box. Looks like a Punnett square. And you just put each of your terms in there from left to right, top to bottom. X squared. Don't forget the negative 4x that goes with it. And the negative 9x. I'm going to show you something about that in a minute. And the 36. So now each row and each column, you check for their common factor. So x squared and negative 4x. So we're looking at this. Ooh, we're looking at this row right here. I'm going to guess it's an x. Now we're going to go with negative 9x and 36. Now here, let me give you a little hint. Since this first number on the left is negative, your common factor has to be negative. All right, so we will say 9 goes into 36. Negative 9 goes into 36. Negative 9 times negative 4, right? So say negative 9. All right, now let's go do the column. So x squared and negative 9x. Doesn't matter that that's negative. You just look at this top one. All right, common factor is x. Look at your next column. Oh, look at that. The top number is negative in the column now. All right, so your common factor has to be negative. So we're going to say 4, negative 4. So there we go. X minus 9 is your factor, and x minus 4 is a factor. Exactly what you got the first time. All right, that's about all we're going to do for this kind of factoring. Have a great day.